You've heard of AI chatbots, ChatGPT, and all the others in that category, but now everybody's talking about AI agents, and some vendors use the terms interchangeably. What's the difference between them? Why should you care? And by you, I mean you as a content creator, or maybe if you work at a company, why the company should care. My name is Maria Korolov. I'm a technology journalist and have been for over 20 years, and I cover enterprise uses of technology, which means most recently is I talk to senior executives and people actually rolling out these systems about what works and what doesn't. So AI, most recent version powered by large language models. And this is things like OpenAI's GPT 5.2, for example. This is the core base model behind the scenes. A base model is not particularly user-friendly. A chatbot is an interface to that model that is fine-tuned to answer people's questions. So it's rewarded for answering questions well. And it's designed to be helpful, maybe a little sycophantic, maybe a little too sycophantic. It's designed to be the right mix between accurate and creative, which is why it makes mistakes, because half the people wanted to be creative and make stuff up, and half the people wanted to be accurate and not make stuff up. And like, you gotta like draw the line in the middle somewhere. They're working on fixing that problem. So everybody has used a chatbot at some point. Even if you're not using ChatGPT itself, you may have talked to a chatbot on the phone. You might have talked to a chatbot on your utility company's website or on your, another commerce site. These things are everywhere. An AI agent is the latest iteration of AI chatbot. So it has the LLM on the back end. But now, instead of being fine-tuned to answer your questions, it is designed to do stuff for you autonomously. So for example, when you ask it, what's 2 plus 2, instead of guessing based on its understanding of how numbers work, understanding being here in quotation marks, it will go to a calculator and actually have the calculator write the calculation. Or it might write some Python code to do the calculation. Or it might use another tool to do the calculation. You can ask agents to do multi-step things, and you can ask it to do deep research on the web. You can ask it to order products for you, or order something, on the phone, or put something on your calendar. An agent has the power to do stuff. And an agentic system is a framework to pull a bunch of these agents together and have them cooperate with one another. And in addition to having a bunch of agents in it, it will also have data sources and tools that all these agents can use. So if you are a company, you might have a chatbot that answers questions about your company policies, for example. Or you might have an HR agent that your employees can use to reserve vacation days. And you might have an agentic AI system that creates educational content for your employees by collecting the latest data, the latest documents from your company, by creating a plan, by doing the drafts, by creating the graphics, by running it past reviewers, by modifying it based on feedback, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, with different agents doing different parts of it. Each agent's fine-tuned to use that specific set of tools to carry out those specific sets of instructions to access a specific set of data. So that's the agentic system. Very, very powerful, very, very risky. You're allowing the AI to do something on your behalf with limited or no supervision. So if you are thinking about using agents, so if you're a content creator, for example, you might want to use an agent for, say, your marketing. So you would say, okay, agent, I've written this poem or painted this painting or written this book or this song. I want to promote this. Create a marketing plan for me. Creating a marketing plan, that's something a chatbot can do. That's answering the question. It just answers the question and creates a marketing plan for you. Where you might use an agentic version of this AI is where you say, okay, now go into deep research mode and research latest marketing trends and modify my marketing plan accordingly. This is a low risk case because it's just doing research. It's not changing like anything on your computer. It's not spending your money, right? And the thing that it comes back with, only you can see. Only you see this marketing plan. And if there's something you don't like about it, you just ignore that thing or ask it to change it. This is a very low risk use case of an agent. If you have a novel that's set in a medieval period, you can have it do deep research on particular topics, where an agent or multiple agents will go out and research these topics and come back to you with a report or maybe links to the original research, whatever you ask for. And depending on the level of accuracy you want to have in your novel, you might want to double check its original research results, just make sure it's correct, because this is something that readers might actually see. So this is a higher risk use case. If you have your marketing plan, you might have, it suggests that you create a bunch of tweets, for example. You can have an agent go out, create the tweets. You can have it present them to you for review. Once you've approved them or once you've made your changes, it can schedule those tweets in a social media scheduling program. This is a tool use. And you might want to review that schedule just to make sure that everything is still okay. And then those tweets will go up automatically. So slightly higher risk because this is going to go out to the public. So you want a higher level of review. If you're having an AI agent buy stuff for you, spending your money, this is very high risk. You want to review everything it does, especially at the beginning until they work out all the kinks in it. And even after it works out the kinks, you might still want to review every purchase above a certain amount or with new companies or however you want to set up those guardrails. You definitely want to have guardrails in place. You don't want to spend all your money. There's also agents that will use your browser and log into websites on your behalf and do stuff for you. So for example, it can just publish a book. Very useful, very risky. There's a lot that can go wrong there. So it can save you a lot of time, but it can also cause you a lot of trouble. So you probably don't want to be the very earliest adopter of this technology. Or if you do want to be an early adopter, make sure you double check everything that it does. You can use an agent to take over your desktop. So that's coming, desktop use. Super risky. Now the agent has access to everything you could do on your computer. That's extremely, extremely risky. Be very careful before doing that. And there's already people who are reporting that say it deleted their hard drive by mistake. So that can happen very, very easily. Be very careful about this. If you're going to jump into using an agent on your desktop, I would suggest using it on a separate computer. Maybe set up a brand new computer or an old computer that you're not using anymore, clear it out, and just have the agent live on that so that you're not putting your main working computer at risk. And then make sure they're isolated so the agent can't hop over from that computer to your main computer. So don't have shared file access between the two. Yeah. So one of the things I write about is cybersecurity. So how to secure agents is literally a story I'm working on today for CSO Magazine as I'm recording this. So Monday, December 15th. For companies, as you can imagine, this is hugely, hugely powerful technology. And it is seeing the fastest adoption rate of anything I've ever seen, faster than chatbots. Yes, AI agents are being adopted faster than chatbots because companies can see the power, the potential here. Claude Code is the most popular AI agent out there right now. It's a coding assistant. Claude Code just hit $1 billion in annual revenue run rate. This is how much money they expect to make over the course of a year. They hit that point after 6 months. ChatGPT hit that point after 9 months. So, and ChatGPT previously was the fastest one. So this is really, really huge. All the companies I talk to, software development is either the top use case or one of the top 2 or 3 use cases for AI in their companies, and the one where they're seeing the most immediate benefits. It not perfect, it needs a lot of oversight, but if you know what you're doing, it can really, really speed up your workflows. And every company is short of developers. Every company has more coding work it wants to do than it has people to do it. So this isn't an area where companies are laying people off. They are laying people off, but they're laying people off for unrelated reasons and often pointing to AI as a reason to get the PR boost, to make them look like they're a really futuristic company. But in all the data I've seen about actual job numbers, the number of software jobs is going up, not going down. They're hiring people for software jobs. They're not laying people off overall. That's the problem with all those layoff statistics. If one company lays off 1,000 people, it makes the headlines. If 1,000 companies hire one person each, nobody writes about it. So we're always missing the flip side of the story. The other thing as a content creator you need to be aware of is that people are going to be using AI agents to set up content factories. So you might have an agent outlining a novel, another agent creating all the character arcs and the themes and the motifs, another agent researching the best style to use for this genre, another agent writing the drafts, another agent viewing the drafts, another agent checking, and all the other things, right? And creating a marketing plan and designing the cover, and then publishing the book. So once you have the whole process kind of industrialized, then you can produce an infinite number of books. And the price of those books is going to fall to zero, because the minute you start producing stuff in bulk, price will drop. The way that companies keep prices up when there's too much of that thing is they might have a cartel. Like the diamond industry is trying to prop up the price of diamonds, even though they're plentiful, they're not all that rare, and they're distinguishable from man-made ones, right? So they're having a lot of marketing issues right now because they're getting really bad PR. But the reason they kept prices up was through marketing, brand loyalty, and artificial scarcity. Companies that own IP create artificial scarcity. So only Disney is allowed to use Disney characters, except now they've signed a deal with OpenAI, while at the same time they're suing Google for their AI. So yeah, crazy stuff happening. So they have artificial scarcity created their IP. Artists create artificial scarcity by, say, selling numbered prints of their content. But without artificial scarcity, the price will drop down to almost nothing. So for example, if Walmart makes socks in a factory, then it could sell the socks for just slightly more than the cost it makes to the the amount of money it costs to make them and ship them to you, because they're competing against dollar stores and all the other discount chains and Amazon. So they're keeping the prices as low as possible. Price is going to fall to the cost of production. And with AI, the cost of production is almost zero. So the price of generic AI produced content, unless you create some kind of artificial scarcity around it, is going to drop to zero. So if you're producing novels in a factory by the millions, the price of each individual novel is going to drop to zero. And it's going to be really, really hard to make a living with that, unless you figure out some kind of strategy to make money out of it anyway. Oh, advertising. And I think that's, or some kind of artificial scarcity. James Patterson might create an AI factory, for example, to write his books, but he'll only publish maybe like a few books a year, and he'll review them, put a stamp on them, to create that feeling of specialness and uniqueness, and publish only a few of them to maintain the illusion of scarcity. Right. So you're going to be competing against people who do that. Do you want to do that yourself? You're not a writer anymore. You're now a factory owner. Do you want to be a factory owner? Some people do. And if you're a factory owner, then you think about very, very different things. Your day-to-day life is very different than if you're writing novels. And maybe you got into the whole writing business because you enjoy the process of writing novels, in which case I recommend that you lean into being human. This is your marketing advantage. This is something that an AI factory can't match, because it's very time consuming for a human to create something by hand. And so you have scarcity, you have uniqueness, you have an emotional connection. And these are not things that a mass-produced AI product can have, unless they, create an artificial scarcity around it. If you're competing against something like that, if you start seeing that happening in your field, really, really lean into the human side of your marketing. Yeah. All right. So that's the difference between chatbots, AI agents, and agentic AI. If it just answers questions, it's a chatbot. If it does stuff for you, it's an agent. And if it's a bunch of different agents connected together with data sources and tools that they're using, it's an agentic AI platform. All right. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. I answer them all because it's a brand new channel and I have time. Thanks, everybody. And my name is Maria, and I love talking about this stuff. A little scared, a little interested, and I'm mostly just like giving my opinions. All right, I'm gonna go and write this stuff up for my day job. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.